Well, I had a behind-the-scenes tour at the Raw Mint, and it was so enlightening. And I'm going to talk all about my observations for quality control of the Raw Mint's coins, that hot potato topic. Are they actually taking it seriously? Are their coins going to get better? Or are we just doomed forever to have awful quality coins from the Raw Mint? Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here, and a very warm welcome to you all joining me for another Precious Metal Ramble. Now last week I went to the Raw Mint to talk about primarily this Mint era Britannia with a 90-degree rotation of the Queen's head. Super cool piece, and we got it authenticated whilst we were there. But in addition, I had a really special behind-the-scenes tour of the precious metals manufacturing facility. I got to see everything from die production and manufacturing all the way through to that factory floor where I saw Britannias coming off the production line down the conveyor belts, as well as proof coins being made right in front of my eyes, some even rejected for quality control. Now, quality is what I want to talk about in today's video primarily. There are so many other little bits that I can and probably will talk about in future videos, but quality control is the main reason that I went there. If you've watched my channel for a little while, you'll notice that I had a half-ounce gold Britannia with a giant ding in the side that could pretty much have only happened by being dropped, and that was the main reason I went. So today I'm going to share some of my open, honest and frank observations of that manufacturing facility, talk a little bit about what I was told and saw with my own eyes about quality control and how the Raw Mint take it seriously, and they honestly do, and there's a lot of people there that take a great deal of pride in their work. And it almost made me feel quite bad because I have been quite critical of the Raw Mint in the past, and there was a little part of me that felt a little bit awkward when talking with some of the heads of department for various different aspects of coin manufacturing and production, and I've been quite critical of them, but that didn't have any factor to play. They were just super open, honest and frank with me, and I'm under no non-disclosure agreements. I can talk about whatever I want, whatever I saw, and it was interesting, it was fascinating. Before I jump into all that, because this is going to be a long video, I do want to say thank you to the team at the Raw Mint that met me and showed me around. It was super special, and now I'm super lucky because of course I have this channel and this following, and I hate the idea of being like an influencer and playing on that kind of inverted commas fame, and it's just a load of tosh really. I'm just a guy who talks about coins, and the fact that I had that opportunity is super special. And I know it's probably not going to happen for everybody. If you moan about quality control, they won't listen to you, but they can't necessarily listen to everybody. So I guess in certain ways I have to be that like voice of the people. I don't like saying that, it's awful, it's so cringy. But I did get this opportunity and I do want to share it. So have a listen, have a think, and honestly, this is the only way that we're going to make things better for the Raw Mint's quality control. We are going to engage with them, we're going to critically evaluate what we see and what we hear and what we observe on our coins, and we're going to push back where needed. But if we do it in the right way, we can actually affect change rather than just sit there and constantly moan about it in comment sections on videos on YouTube. That's the goal here. That is the goal. So with that said, let's jump into quality control at the Raw Mint and what I observed. So there's two elements to this. There's the bullion side and there's the proof side. Let's start with the bullion side, because there was one big flaw that I want to talk about straight off the gate, and something that the people at the Raw Mint, they know about already, and they are trying to effect change for it. Now, I haven't got videos and photos of the production facility. That's a fairly sort of no-brainer. No cameras involved, no cameras allowed, basically. And I can't necessarily fully describe with justice the production facility of, for example, the Bullion Britannias. But needless to say, there is a speed element here. A bullion coin is produced a lot faster than a proof coin, and it's an automated process. Blanks go in one end, coins come out the other end, and there's a conveyor belt system here. And there's also a moment after the coin is struck where it's pushed out from the dies and it rolls down onto a conveyor belt, and that conveyor belt's at an angle. And I saw coins that were rolling and jumping and bouncing around and getting in contact with each other. And that's the big sort of flaw in the system for bullion coins. So we talk about a lot of our bullion coins having dings, dents and scratches, and a lot of the time you might think, well, that's because they're supplied in tubes and they're bouncing up and down on each other. Unfortunately, I feel like that's happening at that point when the coins are coming out of the die, down onto the conveyor belt and going. And I said that straight away. When they took me over to that machine and were showing me those coins being produced, I immediately said, look, well, that's the flaw in the system. That's where things are going wrong, surely. And they knew about it. They were like, yes, look, this is going to improve. There is going to be a better solution to this, and it's happening soon. So one would hope that we're going to start to see an evolution of that manufacturing process such that those potential dings and dents and scratches on coins might not be there. Now, with bullion coins as well, you can't check every single coin, and there's no sophisticated checking process for every single coin. Of course, when a coin hits a conveyor belt, it's one side up or down. There's no way of really knowing that. What there was, though, was there was a person on that production line that flipped them over to one side only. I think it was basically Britannia side up. And then there's an automated process where the coins are picked up by a robot and put into tubes. And that all looks pretty fine. Like, there's no, in my mind, I mean, I'm not an expert when it comes to production lines, factories, and ISO and all of that to make things as perfect as they can be. But from my perspective as a coinee, as somebody who looks at coins, I didn't have any problems with the way the coins were handled. It's just as they were coming out of the die machine into the conveyor belt. That's the weak link there. Now, of course, them being in a tube still has a factor to play, and I've seen numerous times that when coins are not supplied in tubes, they are better. They are better, definitely. And the tubes are just one of these necessities of coins, unfortunately, and they are going to cause problems later down the line. That's normal for all mints, so it's not just the raw mint that we can moan about that has problems with their tubes and coins dinging up and down on their tubes. So, moving now from bullion over to what they described as premium bullion. Now, premium bullion is one of these like marketing phrases, isn't it? It's still a bullion coin, but it's not made on the same machine. So they don't just pick out coins from the production line of that bullion stamping machine. They actually go to a separate machine and they will produce bullion coins in a different and slower way and a better quality control process. Those coins are each individually checked, and if there are major flaws or issues, then they are rejected. And that's refreshing to see. So if you're a collector, if you're somebody who wants to get perfect Britannias, then maybe just think about paying a little bit more to have one of the premium bullion versions. That's my advice. Get a carded version, for example. It's what I've been doing with the gold Britannias of late. I want something that I'm not going to worry about bouncing up and down in a tube or off the production line. For me, it's about having a good coin, and sometimes it's worth paying a few quid extra for that. So that's an interesting one. Now, we move to proof coins. Now, the proof coins section was really, I don't know what everyone else has in their mind for the conception of what the production facility of the raw mint might look like. But from my perspective, the first thing that I observed and said to my tour guide, the head of the department, was it's a lot smaller, a lot more compact than I envisaged. I envisaged a gigantic warehouse with humongous machines and factory production lines and conveyor belts. But really, for the proof coins, they are done one at a time, by hand, by a human, checked by a human, and checked by other means as well. And that's the only thing that I can't go into detail about. There are other checks and measures put in place, and that's really refreshing to see. And one thing that really struck me was that the operators of these machines, they take a supreme level of pride in their work. I saw some proof coins being produced right in front of me. Literally, blanks go in the machine, coin produced, coin checked, coin rejected for quality. And I was completely at liberty to go and pick up that they had a tray. They had a red tray, rejects, and they had a white tray for the good ones. And on that particular day, I mean, look, quality control is an important thing, isn't it? You can, some conspiracy theorists will say, they put on a show for you, Backyard Bullion. Don't believe anything they say. No, I didn't get that sense at all. I was just there watching a normal day at work. There were 30 coins on this rejects tray and 5, I think, on the OK tray. Now, that doesn't, some of you are going to just go, well, that's just evident that the raw mint are crap. No, it's not. That's really good. The raw mint are checking every single coin. And what was happening was that there was an issue with the die on that particular coin. So each time that the coin came out, the little error was there. The the operator of the machine would go back and be checking the die, be trying to, I don't know, there was a bit of detritus or debris on there, trying to clean it, get it off. Next one in, try, is it okay? Is it better? Is it, still not acceptable? And each time that coin would come out and it wasn't right, it would be checked. And it's a time-consuming process. Like on the Bullion side, you've got coins going through every second. On these proof coins, you've got minutes in between each coin that comes out, is checked, is looked at with minute levels of detail, and we're talking extreme levels of detail, and then potentially even rejected or not. So from that side of things, there's really good quality control on these proof coins that are being manufactured, and that is really good to see. Now look, the obvious thing here is, well, hang on, if the proof coins are so good when they're coming out and people are checking them so religiously, why are we still getting duff proof coins when we get deliveries? So that's the disconnect, and that's what I fed back to the raw mint, and I'll feed back again here today, that there seems to be, at some point in the production process, a disconnect between the coin being minutely checked and checked over and made sure that it's as perfect as can be, to when it gets out to the customer. And at some point in that process, there's a bit of damage happening, or there's a little bit of a disconnect in that happening. Now, one of the, again, I'm not an expert in production management and everything, one of the things that I am intrigued about is that checking process. Now, the coins are checked minutely at that production phase, but they're not checked again in that level of detail. They're checked aesthetically from an eye perspective, but when you've got so many coins going through, all the will in the world, some are going to get through as bad ones. Now, how that bad happens from when it was good, I'm guessing, is down to handling of the coins when it goes into capsules. The proof coins, it seems to me, are put into capsules manually, not by machines. There are definite potential issues there that could happen. Now, I've seen perhaps like proof coins that have small little dings and dents on them, scratches, breaks and frosting. Those could quite easily happen from just, if you're putting them in the capsule and you rub the coin against the edge of the capsule slightly, then that might cause the issues. There's no then secondary check to it, and that's the disconnect for me. So is it I've moaned a lot about these little quality control stickers that we see here in boxes, and whether or not this is really doing justice, because there are certainly things that are coming out where they've got quality control stickers on that you think, no, that's not even been checked for quality control. Is it really the job of the packing team to minutely check every coin for the scratches and details? I would argue no. I think their job is to make sure the entire kind of ensemble looks all right, and I genuinely think that's what this sticker is about. I don't think this sticker is about checking each proof coin with a minute level of detail to make sure that there isn't a single break in frosting or a tiny little scratch on the coin or a hair mark or something like that. That should be lying with somebody else, quite frankly, in my opinion. So yeah, that's the disconnect from the quality control thing. Now, what I will follow up by saying is that the people at the Raw Mint do take a lot of pride in their work when it comes to quality control. And the amount of coins that I saw that were rejected for quality control actually impressed me quite a lot. And a lot of you are going to go, well, it's just decided they're not very good at their jobs. No, I think it's actually great and refreshing to see that even like big kilo coins that are having issues on them, they're being rejected. And let me tell you, these are not like cheap things to see and have and make and have one rejected. You've got a lot of extra process to go through if you've got a big blank that you've used and it's then suddenly being rejected. So yeah, that's interesting that there are these issues still happening, but the people at the Raw Mint take it super serious, that they don't just get it through. And I will talk a little bit more about culture and about perhaps the people at the Raw Mint and what they are trying to do, I think, at a later point in a different video. But very briefly, I do think that they've got a culture shift, I think, happening right now where they are talking more about quality than quantity. And I think that's important considering how many different coins they're producing to get that quality right. They also take feedback super seriously, which I thought was really interesting. So from my perspective, they weren't putting on a show, they weren't just telling me what I wanted to hear. They were just showing me around what was actually happening, and it was impressive. It really was. So from a quality control perspective, I do think there is some good signs there. It puts my mind somewhat, not necessarily at ease, but it puts my mind in a place where I think that things will get better. And observably, I have noticed things have got better in the last couple of, basically the last 18 months or so. There was a period where I was getting, like, I don't know, 9 out of 10 proof coins had issues on them. And you guys saw that if you've been a long-term viewer. I was unboxing every Royal Mint delivery I got of proof coins, and like 9 out of 10 were crap. And I've not had that of late. I've had a lot better results. I've had coins come through which are just fine, just perfect. So there's definitely been an improvement, an observable improvement. And in fact, one thing that I will say is some of the coins of the proof side that were rejected that I saw, and I was at free liberty just to pick these coins up. After all, they're just going to be gone straight back in the melting pot. I picked them up and was looking, and I would notice and identify flaws on those coins that have been seen and rejected. And those previously would have been let through. I'd have seen them on my coins. I recognised the shapes and the marks and the dings and the dents of things that I'd seen past on my own coins. And so now that those are being rejected, I do think that there is a better improvement of that. And we've certainly not seen, I think, in my experience anyway, as many issues on coins. Now, the elephant in the room here, milk spots. And if you've watched this lion before, if you've seen it on my channel, you know there's a big giant milk spot. I'm going to do milk spotting in its own video because, in my opinion, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Quality control. Raw mints, actually, blameless is not the right word. They've struggled with this. This is something that they need to take more seriously. But it's very difficult to do so. So I will do a whole video about milk spotting and the issues that are arising from that. But that's perhaps next video. I've already talked now for 16, 17 minutes even. So yeah, a real experience. It was so special. And I can't thank the team at the Royal Mint enough for that special experience. And I hope that you guys have found it interesting and that I've sort of done it justice. Unless you're there, unless you see it with your own eyes, you might still be skeptical, and that's fine. But if you're just going to shout at me for being a conspiracy, you're a conspiracy theorist and you think that I'm working with the Royal Mint and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I kid you not. For the ramblers listening to the back end of my video, my super cool, extra cool kids club, I literally got accused this week of conspiring with the Royal Mint to produce mint errors, have a mint tour, and then talk about it to give the Royal Mint some positive publicity. Such a load of tosh. I think it's really important to do this and to share critically and frankly our feedback, our experience, so the Royal Mint can do better. That's why we do what we do. And I'd love to know your feedback and your thoughts and your experiences of quality control. The Royal Mint will watch this video, I know they will, and they will read those comments. So comment down below with your thoughts. That's it from me for now. We'll see you on the next one, it's going to be a good one about milk spots, let me tell you. I might do a split video, milk spots and talking about the people and the culture, because I don't know if I can talk about milk spots for 15 minutes. But hey, that's still to come. Thank you one and all for watching. We'll see you on the next video. As always, please make sure that you like, share, comment and subscribe for more.